Hey, 6th grade. This is your language lesson for Wednesday, April the 15th. Lesson 3 is due today. We're just going to go over it and look at some of the answers for lesson 3. And lesson 4, the lesson on conjunctions, is due on Thursday, April the 16th. If you remember from lesson 1, we graded some in lesson 1, and I said that these are the ones that I want the grade for, so be keeping that in mind. If you have not already, you could put the amount wrong on that quiz that you're going to take on Friday. There will be a quiz on Friday then, so be thinking about that. Make sure you have lesson 1 graded, okay? Go back to the day that lesson 1 is due, and that's the day that it will be on the video grading lesson 1. The date on the video will be the day that lesson 1 was due. All right, let's look at lesson 3 a little bit. Page 12, lesson 3, capitalization. Circle the letters that should be capitalized. Number 1, there are no words that need to be capitalized. Governor is capitalized only if it is like a predicate, if it is replacing a proper noun. So you have the example there, Patrick Henry was first governor. Where are we at? Actually, no, that's not capitalized. The only time governor is capitalized, the only time governor is capitalized is when you're using it as his name. So, good morning, governor. Or that is Governor so-and-so, okay? If it's part of his name, then it is capitalized. Otherwise, it is not. So, number 1, governor is not capitalized. Number 3, Velveeta and Zesta should be capitalized, the brand names, not the actual product, not crackers and not cheese, just the brands Velveeta and Zesta. Number 5, this fall, grandfather will move. Grandfather, in this case, needs to be capitalized. You're calling him grandfather. If you would say, this fall, my grandfather will move, then that would not be capitalized. But here you're naming him grandfather, so grandfather is capitalized. Number 7, names of the Godhead, Lord, Maker, and His, all referring to the Lord or God. Those are all capitalized, Lord, Maker, and His. Number 9, Brock is capitalized and not cousin. My cousin, Brock. All right, number 15, I have the diagram. It's a fairly straightforward diagram. I can handle, if you have fire ant, if you have fire up here with ant as a compound noun for the object of the preposition, I can handle fire ant up here, okay? It can also be an adjective saying what kind of ant, but it's kind of the name of the ant, fire ant. So I can handle fire ant being, fire being up there as well. So the sting of a fire ant is quite. What part of speech is quite? Well, you have to think about what part of speech painful is. Painful is a predicate adjective. What kind of words describe adjectives? Quite is an adverb, modifying an adjective. So there is that diagram. Again, with diagrams, some of you, you need to manage the diagram a little better. You need to figure out ahead of time, what is the subject? Subject is always here. What is the verb? Complements, predicate adjectives, predicate nominatives follow a linking verb, slanted line. Direct objects would follow an action verb, straight line. Adjectives and adverbs are just diagrammed with the words they modify. And prepositional phrases, in this case, this is an adjective phrase, which sting, the sting of the fire ants, that goes under sting. Okay? Anytime you see conjunctions, and, but, or, those kinds of words, or your correlative conjunctions, we're talking about them, they get diagrammed on dotted lines, and we'll look a little bit at that in lesson 4. All right, so that's your diagram, number 15. And let's look just at a couple on the next page. Number 17, underline the adverbs, circle the adjectives. Underline the adverbs, circle the adjectives. Adjectives are words that modify nouns or pronouns. Which one, what kind, whose, how many, right? A, an, and the are always adjectives. So the a dozen other boys. That's kind of a, I was just looking at that. Dozen should almost not be a dozen. Dozen would be a, dozen would be like a, what do you call those? Collective nouns. Because a modifies dozen. Interesting. Let me see what the book has there for sure. I think it has it like this. And I remember last year contemplating this one. Because a modifies dozen, a does not modify boys. So that's kind of a strange one here. Let me just quick look at this one. Lesson 3, number 17. Yeah, I'm still debating that one. If you do not have dozens circled, if you caught that, see, a modifies dozen, a dozen. It's not a boys, right? It's a dozen. So if you do not have dozens circled, I can handle that. If you have it circled, let it go. The book has it circled. I'm not sure that I agree with that though, because a has to modify dozen. And adjectives don't modify other adjectives, so dozen really is, it looks to me like a collective noun. But if you have a dozen others circled, that's good. If you don't have dozens circled, that's fine too. And then which job this needs to be circled, that's adjectives. Likely is an adverb, underlined. All right, look at 22 and 23 quickly. Write sentences using recess as each part of speech. You may need to use the dictionary just to see how it's used. So 22, recess as a noun. Excuse me. That's kind of the recess that we understand. Our first recess starts at 10:15. Okay? Recess as a thing. Recess as a verb could be the court will recess 1.5 hours for lunch. Or we will recess at 10:15. Okay? That's recess as a verb. All right. Let's look a little bit at lesson 4. Conjunctions. What are conjunctions? Connecting word. Conjunctions connect phrases, words, clauses or sentences. You have compound sentence. Know these connecting words. You have your coordinated conjunctions, and, but, yet, or, nor, for. And then you also have the correlative conjunctions. Either, or, neither, nor, both, and, not only, and, but also. One of the things to remember about conjunctions especially is that the parts after the conjunction need to be parallel. Okay, do you remember that? Yesterday, Ellie was running, jumping, and I can't think of that. Running, jumping, and to sing a song or something. So you need the running, jumping, and singing a song. Same parts of speech after the conjunction, with the conjunction connecting them. The same thing is true with the correlative conjunctions. Okay, know those correlative conjunctions. Either or, either so-and-so or so-and-so, or either I will ride my bike today or jump on the trampoline. Actually, that's actually correct, but yeah. Make sure that the parts of speech make everything parallel there. I think you remember that from other times. So do lesson 4, and we'll look over some of these just to make sure that we understand what's going on with conjunctions. All right? Lesson 4 due for Thursday. Have a good day.